I originally thought to myself, I'm not gonna air this episode. But then Lindsay came out and she's like, you better air that. Nah, just kidding. All right, guys, so we got the storm coming in, low barometric pressure, as you guys saw on the computer charts. And guys, it's getting to be chilly. So the corbina and everything like that, relatively gone. The sand crabs are kind of just not here right now. So we're going with squid. We're going with our 10-foot pole. We're gonna get ourselves out there. Now, as you can see, it looks like a beautiful day here, but at the same time, I can tell you right now, it's very brisk, it's very cold. In comparison to what it is during the summer months. And right now we're looking at tide, roughly about 4 feet. So, and we have a couple of rogue waves every now and then. That's because we have a storm coming in, right? So usually fishing with storms, because of that drop in barometric pressure, the fish end up becoming more active. And so we want to make sure that we're taking advantage of that, because low barometric pressure usually translates into more fish activity, right? They're more active. They're not necessarily looking for deeper areas to try to find, areas where they can just kind of be lethargic or anything like that. So anyways, guys, let's get ourselves out there. Let's find ourselves some fish, and let's not skunk out today. We're asking for one, baby, one. So here we go, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys. So we got that massive kelp ball that's like right over there, right, that just passed us. So we know the current is shifting this way. There was a ton of pelicans that were out here, and wow, the water, I gotta tell you guys, ooh, it's a little cold, just a tad bit. We're gonna try to get out there as far as we can, but honestly, I really don't wanna get out there too far to where I'm getting just absolutely soaked or pounded, right? And we got squid on the line right now. We do have some sardines in our bag. I'm gonna wait till those kind of thaw out a little bit, because I got some scissors that I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the gut, right? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie that sardine onto my line. So that way it's not necessarily shifting all over the place, or we don't lose it on our hook. So I wanna wait for those to thaw just a tad bit. But right now, we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves out here, and let's go ahead and chuck this as far as we possibly can and try to get over that break wall. Oh, whew, that was cold. Oh, that was a terrible cast. Not even close to over the break wall. We'll let it sit for a minute. But it definitely was not what we wanted. But you never know. Well, I definitely know that that's not what I want. Something tells me that today, even though barometric pressure is low and fish activity is supposed to be high, something tells me today is going to be a hard-fought battle with this surf. We also probably could have waited for the set to go by. And I've said it before in other episodes, the length of this pole is great for like casting and stuff. But I can tell you right now, when it comes to feel, it's a little bit harder to feel stuff, right? Like what I was feeling right now as I pulled that back, I'm pretty sure I'm feeling kelp as it's dragging me out. Because every time a wave comes forward, right? Every time a wave comes forward, it feels like it's like releasing, right? So like, that's how I can tell that it's more so kelp as opposed to an animal, right? And I feel like I'm on a big piece of kelp. So that's not gonna be very pleasant, especially when you get it in finally. Like, it's gonna be, I hope we can kind of just work through it. Man, I wish this was an animal though. That would have been awesome. But I can tell you right now that it's not. But you never know. On these massive kelp balls, sometimes I've seen it in other YouTubers' videos and stuff, where it's like little crabs and stuff like that. All right, so we're on just a big old kelp ball. So let's go ahead and get that untangled as quickly as we possibly can, so that way we can get ourselves back out there. Not too bad on timing. So let's see, because remember, that was a terrible cast, that first cast. Let's see if we can't improve on that, right? Which, like I said, we're starting with a pretty low bar. It's just gonna be a little tough, you know, kind of working through. We wanna get out there, but at the same time, I'm really just not interested in getting super wet, super cold, and then eventually super sick. And we have these massive waves coming through. Ready, we're out of the water. A way better cast over the breakwater. We're good there. Where's my line? All right, now it's just a waiting game here. All right, guys, remember, we're a couple hours outside of that slack tide, right? That pinnacle of high tide. So now we're at a point where, hey, like, we have an opportunity to get at it while the fish are more active, right? Because during that slack tide, like we mentioned in previous episodes, the fish are just trying to relax. They're trying to kick back. They're trying not to necessarily have to do too much as far as exhaust themselves, right? It's right now when that tide is going out or when the tide is coming in that there's a lot of change, there's a lot of action going on. And so we want to take advantage of that if we can. And we want to be able to get out in very like active areas, not necessarily too active to where it's creating massive walls or anything like that. But if we can get right past that break wall, it's going to give us a good advantage. All right, guys, I believe I'm on a big, fat, massive piece of seaweed. But at the same time, I was like, you know what, let me just capture it just in case. We have this little piece of seaweed or whatever's on my line is literally bending my pole practically in half. Like, and it is just a giant piece of seaweed. And I'm still out here. It's not that I've skunked out today yet, because the day is not over, right? But, you know, when you're getting those, I can tell you right now, as a fisherman, it can be relatively discouraging, right? And I'm here to tell you, as a fisherman, don't get discouraged, don't stop, because it's not failure, it's nothing like that, it's nothing crazy, right? It's just, you're dealing with nature. Right? And sometimes nature just has a crazy way of messing with you. I originally thought to myself, I'm not gonna air this episode. But then Lindsay came out and she's like, you better air that. No, I'm just kidding. No, but honestly, that's the whole thing about being a fisherman, right? Like, we're obviously sitting here, we're like, we don't want to air all of our stuff, right? Where we're skunking out on a daily basis or anything like that. Hey man, sometimes, especially if you're fishing in the same areas, a lot of times, that's just gonna happen. You're gonna skunk. And, you know, it's sometimes a pain in the butt to try to figure it out. But it wouldn't be a skill that's developing if all I showed you guys was me catching fish every single day. If I showed you guys me catching a shark or me catching a grouper or me catching a big old tarpon or a guitar fish or any of that stuff every single day, you wouldn't know and understand that there are struggles that go along with this stuff. There are times when it's gonna suck, you know? And like, there are times when you're gonna lose your gear and not wanna go in the ocean to go grab it. Whereas there's gonna be other times when you wanna go in the ocean and grab it. And it is just gonna be what it is. So anyways, guys, I wanted to crawl up into a little ball and be like, nah, I'm not gonna air this. I'm not gonna do this episode. But that would be doing both myself an injustice. I wouldn't be honest with myself, and it would be doing you guys an injustice because it wouldn't be me being honest with you. So anyways, guys, it's going day number 4, baby. We're rolling with it. We got a beautiful sunset, so we caught ourselves something. And not only that, but we caught ourselves a beautiful lady. So anyways, guys, until next time, take care.